Happy Thursday. Good afternoon. I don't think it's evening for anybody just yet, unless you're in a different country. But I am very excited for today's live. Normally, we do lives around different products or services or financial education that we teach about on my channel. But today, you guys, today is going to be a little different. I do have a guest speaker, as you can tell, to my right, possibly your left, depending on how this view's for you. But today, we're going to talk to you guys not about making and building wealth and making money and all that good stuff. We're going to talk to you about how to make and build a lifestyle that you've always dreamt of, something that most people do not have. And one thing I know for sure is that if nothing changes, right? And so many people are getting laid off right now. They're uncertain about their jobs, if they're going to get to keep it. They're over sitting in traffic. They don't want to go back into the offices. That's all we hear left and right. And today we're going to talk to you about how you can actually build the lifestyle that you've always wanted. It's going to take a lot of time, energy, and effort to do it, but we're going to show you the possibilities and what doing something like that can get you. So, the individual that I have as my guest speaker today is not just my coach and my mentor, but a very, very dear friend of mine that has been behind me and beside me literally every step of the way that I've transitioned into building my own business and all of that good stuff. And I definitely couldn't have done it without him. He has been in the industry now for over a decade, building his business in the financial services industry with him and his wife. He's got two kids, with one about to pop out. So then he'll have three kids, all under the age of four, which is crazy. And he's literally built a lifestyle that most people could only dream to have over the last 10 years. And I know it wasn't easy. I know it took a lot of hard work, but just barely in their mid 30s and living a lifestyle most people don't have in their 50s or 60s. So today we're going to talk to you a little bit about how we did it. So, Mr. Randolph Cantada, please say hello to everybody and we can get in right to it.
What's going on, everybody, on this YouTube channel? Amanda, thank you so much for having me. Man, Amanda, I was just thinking when you said over a decade, that sounds really old and a long time. And then you followed it up with like in his mid 30s, and I'm like, man, that's not a long time actually. And we're living the life and the dream life that we've always thought of that we would have had during this time, and it was really just because we went into entrepreneurship and in business. And I just wanted to say I'm very proud of you, and I'm proud to be in business with you. Not only you're an awesome friend, you're an awesome colleague, but you're a great business partner and you're a great person all around. And I just think doing life and surrounding the people around you is very, very important. And so I'm glad you're part of our lives.
Mhm. I appreciate that. And one thing I want to do a little bit different, because if you guys are here, we were just over on Instagram where we kind of told Randolph's entire story and how he got into the position that he is today. But I kind of want to do it backwards here. So I'm thinking, so when it comes to, let's say that people do, right? They make the sacrifices, they go out there and they decide to do what it takes to build a lifestyle. What does that lifestyle look like? We're going to start, we're going to work backwards today. So what does it look like? What do you guys have the ability to do on a daily basis? What are things that you get to do that most other people could literally only dream about because they don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the freedom? What does it look like?
Yeah, it's a great, great question. We were actually just talking about this.
Mhm.
And, now when we go to specific places, we don't look at, I don't want to sound like, how do I put this? We don't really look at price tags as much anymore. Now, obviously, if it's an expensive thing, we're going to look at price tags. But I remember when we were furnishing our home, or even before that, when we lived in an apartment or a townhouse and we were furnishing it, and we would go to places where you buy the furniture and you got to build it yourself, and it doesn't look like how it looks like at the place. And now I never knew something called white glove service. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that before. But white glove service is like they deliver the furniture, they install it for you, and I'm like, whoa, that was like an extra $1,000, $2,000 service that maybe that I couldn't afford back in the day, right? Or just doing spontaneous things where we wake up and says, hey, you know what? Do you want to go to Disneyland tomorrow? Like, sure, let's go to Disneyland. Kids don't got school. Let's just do a day trip, fly in, fly out. And it's just the opportunity to control your own time, right? And that's kind of the lifestyle. Like we were talking, how on Monday, my wife and I and the kids were just having lunch, and I'm like, I want a new computer. Let's go buy a new computer. And got a whole new office set up. And it's just, great things when it comes to having more income. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And I think it is definitely, definitely powerful to be able to live a lifestyle like that. Like, I know you remember what it was like, right? When we had to go into an office, you're working the 9 to 5. I remember having to request PTO
Hmm.
to go and go to like a doctor's appointment or something. I know, for example, you were sharing earlier to take your daughter to her dance class,
Hmm.
right? And what, only dad there at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, only dad there at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing all the dance moves, and people kind of looking at me kind of funny, like, what do you do? Like, I just see Andrea Gallo, who just texted, "Hi, I'm from Italy." Like, just took my mother-in-law, right, and their family out to Italy in July, and we're just hanging out there for 20 days. But our business was still running. We were still able to do business while we were gone. It's just lifestyle has completely changed. Where I think about it, like, man, I had to save up months, maybe even dedicate full years of saving so that I can go and go into a European trip. So the fact that we can just do it off the fly, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that actually brings up a good point. I remember having to save before I could plan a trip.
Yeah.
Remember that when
I
it's
do.
like, oh, I have this big trip coming up in 6 months. I'm saving for it. I'm saving for it. Now it's like, okay, what is it? 4 grand here. Here's 4 grand.
Right.
Whatever. Just take it. Whatever it's going to cost.
I remember,
But
Amanda, when you first started with us, you went on a Greece trip. Remember, you did that with your
yeah,
friend, and
yeah,
you had probably been in the business what 6 months, maybe less. Um,
yeah. Not
and
much.
you're like, I got to go to Greece. How long did you working at a corporate job? How long did you like plan that trip? How long did you have to save for that?
That trip was planned like 9 months in advance.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
and now if you
Nine
wanted
months
to
in
do that,
advance.
Amanda, what would you have to do? Just book the flight and go.
Book a flight.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, I think the craziest thing I've ever done when it comes to travel was booking my flight and checking in all at the same time. You're like booking and checking in.
Yeah, yeah.
If it's like 6 hours in advance, like I'm just gonna book it and check in and catch an Uber all at the exact same time to go to the airport.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
But
funny.
that's the convenience of the lifestyle, right? Like for example, getting invited to trips last minute and you just can do it. You can do whatever you need to do, which is great. Like you can literally just change up your routine and say, okay, I can be there. I mean, that's probably the best thing. I love to travel. So maybe some people that might not be a big priority, but that's something that I love. But I also love being able to just control my life.
Hmm.
And if I need to get something done that day, I can get it done. Now, that being said, uh, what did lifestyle look like before you got into owning your own business and all of this stuff? I know you were an accountant for a big fancy schwanky accounting firm, PwC. So, what did things look like back then?
Yeah, it looked like a grind. Working 9 to 5, and if anybody understands accounting or being in the financial industry or just having a corporate job, you don't work 8 hours. You work till the job gets done, right? And so there'll be 10-hour days, 12-hour days, and living paycheck to paycheck. I'm from San Jose, the Silicon Valley, the most expensive city to live in the United States, where you got all these big companies, Apple, Google, Yahoo, just all within like a 30-second radius from each other and just blowing up how expensive it is to live there. And so, I remember the days getting stuck in traffic, going to work. And imagine just getting stuck in traffic, going to work, and then leaving work after you're done and getting stuck in traffic again, going to sleep, and just kind of repeating the process. And, you know, many of the times I thought life was great. I mean, was making decent amount of income, as a 23, 24-year old. And, just kind of realized like the things that I wanted to accomplish in life, I wasn't going to do that and I wasn't going to get that, right, if I had to be tied to a job that needed me 24/7 almost. And right. And I'll just be honest, finances were not the best. Like, could you imagine making close to six figures as a 23-year-old, 24-year-old, but still living paycheck to paycheck? And that wasn't
Hmm.
the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted money to not dictate what I could do in life, right? And the choices that I could make. And I felt like previously, before going into business, and maybe not even financial services, but just going into business and entrepreneurship, the only way that I can determine what my time was worth was being my own boss and maybe being in business and being an entrepreneur.
Hmm. So, okay, so that being said, you were very young when you decided
Mhm.
to take the leap of faith, right? Which is scary at any age, but specifically when you're young, and specifically, and I remember for me too, having gone off to college for a certain degree in something and then leaving that behind to go do something else. Like, you had to have had haters, people telling you, like, what do you think you're doing? Like, this
Mhm.
isn't for you. Like,
Mhm.
you need to stay inside your little box and do what you're supposed to do. What was that like?
I was terrified. I could be the person to come up here and tell you I wasn't scared. I'm not scared of anything. I'm scared of a lot of things. I'm scared of snakes. I'm scared of mice and rats. I'm scared of these little creatures that crawl on the floor. But I'll be honest with you, I was terrified. I had a good amount of money saved, and I want to tell people here that if you're going into business or going into entrepreneurship, one of the key things that I would recommend for everybody that's on here is have money saved before you make that commitment, right? Or if you want to maybe join our opportunity on a part-time basis, you'll still have your job and you'll still have income coming in while you're building this business. And that's what I would recommend for everybody. You're always going to have haters. My personal mentor always told me this: like, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything to hate on, right? There isn't anything good in your life where people can't hate on and they can't nitpick. And so I use the haters as like influence to make me want to do better, right? And when you get hate, and hate is such a strong word, right? But like, if nobody knows who you are, if they're a random stranger and they're just not liking you, we'll call them a hater. But like when you look at like family members and friends, I want to tell you, they're not hating on you. They're just scared to see you fail, and they don't want to see you fail. And so, what they say, the things they do, how they act towards your mission and your goal, it might seem like they're hating, but it's really, they're just really scared and they don't want to see you fail. And so turn your haters into the people that you want to inspire. And I look at it in two different eyes now. I say, well, I don't think this person's hating on me. I think this person, I need to prove this person right. I think they truly believe that I can do this, but there's just a little doubt. So let me prove this person right that I can do this. And that'll just transform your lifestyle and the way you start thinking going into business.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I like that. Turn your haters into the people that you want to inspire, right? A lot of times they say
Hmm.
turn your haters into your motivators, but I like that in terms of um prove them right or prove them wrong. So I always
Right.
say, right, you do one or the other. And I definitely had people in the beginning that said a lot of things to me too. Like, this isn't for you. Like, what are you thinking? Like, for you, at least it's still a financial services industry. For me, it was a completely different industry.
Right. Right.
Granted, obviously the industries are still different. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a big shift. It's definitely a
Mhm.
big shift. And why the insurance space out of all the industries you could go into? Because I mean, you were successful in accounting. You could obviously go off and start your own accounting business or accounting firm. Those do very, very well. But why the insurance industry?
Yeah, it's two part answer. And the first one is I really enjoy helping people, and right, I believe like two of the hardest things, that two careers that are super hard out there in the world, is healthcare and financial services. Because healthcare, you're helping people get healthy, whether you're taking care of them or they could be on their deathbed. Medicine, all that stuff. I believe that's a great feat and a great task that many people in healthcare do. And in financial services, you're helping people get financially ahead. You're helping people kind of reach their goals, and when it comes to saving and living the life that they want to live. And so, me being a natural R, right, being a relationship type person, I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to do great things for people. And so, I think that's one of the reasons why I got into the financial industry. Just because, hey, if I can fulfill my relationship type trait that I have into an industry and help people and also get compensated for it, why not? Right. And
Mm-hmm.
not only do we help people through the client side, but we also help our agents reach these goals that they would have only dreamed of. Also, maybe thinking bigger. And the second part to that is, I kid you not, I Googled this because I've seen the financial industry. Many people talk to me about it. And I Googled this in 2013 and I actually got started December 2014. You guys can go on Google right now, right? Just type in Google, what industry creates the most millionaires? And the first thing that popped up was financial services. And I said, okay, if I want to go and get wealthy and I want to develop wealthy people too as well, I got to be in this industry, and kind of just took it off and started running with it.
And I think that's something that a lot of people don't consider. Like, for example, I remember when I was in college for interior design and architecture, I literally remember professors telling me, like, just letting you know, you're not going to make any good income in this
Right.
industry for many, many. Like, I remember them telling us that. And me be like, it's not about the money. It's about the fact that this is what I want to do with my life and blah, blah, blah. And yes, that may be true in like the beginning of your career, but as life goes on, like, it kind of also becomes about the money. Like, you
Exactly.
want you want nicer things, or you want to live
Mhm.
in a certain area, you want to be able to provide a certain lifestyle for your family. And if your income isn't growing or keeping up with inflation at the very least, you start to not like what you used to like to do. It's
Mhm.
just the honest truth. And that's kind of, I mean, one thing I took into consideration too, getting in this field was like, well, if you want to make good income, you probably should work in the money industry. It kind of just makes sense that those would go hand in hand. But let's be real. We know it's not an easy transition into any industry, especially this one. So if people want that lifestyle that we talked about in the beginning, what are they going to like, what is it really going to take? Like, what's it really going to take for them to get to the point where they can say, okay, I've got more money coming in than going out. I've got something that's built me some passive income that's generating so I can go off and travel or do what I need to want to do and still get paid.
Mhm.
What does it take? What does it really take?
Yeah,
Sacrifices.
yeah, there's so many things we could say. We could say, it takes you got to have a whatever it takes mentality. Like if you got a goal, you're just gonna go for it. No pun intended, but you're just gonna try to run for it, right? But I've learned this in my career and in my decade being in this business is when you want to add something or have something in your life. Like let's say you want to hop into this industry or any new industry, whatever it is, and take it as a part-time gig or maybe not in financial services but maybe like run a side gig. Many times people think I got to add a certain trait, I got to learn something, I got to start adding these skills so that I can develop it and be better in the position that I'm going to be in. And the real answer is life and getting ahead is not about addition, it's about subtraction. What is it in your life that you're willing to subtract for a temporary period of time so that you can add something in so you can be successful in it? Right. And for me, like growing up, I loved playing basketball, and you would find me on the basketball court Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 3, 4 hours a day, right at night. And so, when I came into the financial industry, it was like, all right, maybe I have to just cut basketball out just for a short period of time, right? Never gonna forget it, never gonna fall out of love with it, but maybe I just gotta cut that out so I can hone in and get really, really good at what I'm learning and wanting to do, right? And so that's what I would say. I would say figure out what's something in your life that doesn't maybe serve you or is not getting you to where you want to be at. Cut that out so you can add a skill or a service, or a business.
Hmm. And it definitely takes sacrifice, right? But the reality is, it's so worth it. And honestly, your definition of fun will just change
Hmm.
as you start to grow, right? Like what used to be fun, and not that it's not still fun, right? But the definition of it and more things just become higher priority, I think, when it comes to what you want to spend your free time doing, right? It's the
Right.
honest truth. Do you
Hmm.
want to spend it, you know, going to concerts and doing all this stuff, or do you want to spend it working hard towards building a lifestyle that you can enjoy forever? Like my
Absolutely.
mindset was what? Work hard for 5 to 10 years so you can do whatever you want for the rest of your life
Hmm. Right.
versus
Very
working
true.
hard for 40 and only getting to enjoy the last 20.
Right. Isn't that
No, it's
crazy?
got to
You ever heard the 40-40-40 rule? Like you're going to work for
Mhm.
40 hours a week, 40 years of your life. You're going to save your money. And then when it's all said and done, Uncle Sam takes 40% of it. And so,
Mhm.
like, I figured that out at a very young age, 26, 27. Like, that's not the life that I want. Right. And so, kind of just jumped in.
So, well, that being said, what are some of the coolest things that since you guys have made this transition over, some of the coolest things that you've been able to do, maybe with your family, with friends, with the business? What are some of
Yeah.
the coolest things?
So we host retreats with our team. We try to do it every quarter. Now this year it's been kind of crazy because of our transition. So we've already been traveling. Like I think me, you, and Amanda, or me and Amanda, we probably traveled. I don't know how many cities in the last like 2 months. I don't know how many airplanes I've been
Lord.
on. I just think about this, and this is kind of funny because this is very different from what I talked about on our Instagram live. We were in July, we were in Paris and we were in Italy. I took my mother-in-law out there for a family trip, and my kids were just like hearing people say bonjour, and they were saying hello in these different languages, and they're like, "What does that mean, Dad?" And I was like, "Oh, that means hi." Like, "Oh, okay." And then the following in last month in August, we went to Hawaii, and I took my mom out there for her and my dad for their 40th anniversary. And as we were landing, they kept saying "Aloha, thank you for flying Hawaiian Airlines." And my daughter looks at me, she says, "What's aloha mean, Daddy?" And I said, "Oh, it means hi." And she's like, "Oh, kind of like bonjour, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, exactly like that." And I'm just thinking, like, my daughter is 4 years old, And in a span of 3.5 weeks, she went to three different places, vacation in three different places where they say hi in a different language. I'm like,
Yeah.
when I was 4 years old, I don't think I went anywhere. I stayed in California. I didn't start really traveling the world until it was, in financial services and starting our own business. So
Mhm.
we've done that. We've done Sedona trips. We've just done a lot of great things. But I mentioned this on IG. Like, one of my favorite things of all time was playing at the Staples Center. It was a playoff game. It was the Clippers versus the Utah Jazz. I believe it was Game 3. We had great seats, and they finished playing that playoff game. And after it was all said and done, they cleared everybody out, and it was a Northern California team versus a Southern California team. In financial services, we went there. We got to play on the court that these NBA players were just playing at. Shot clocks, referees, keeping score. Scored 9 points on an NBA court. I'm like, man, this is a dream come true, and we actually won that game. And so, just like bucket list type deals, like that was probably one of the greatest things that I've ever done within working in the industry.
I know, I was jealous, I wanted to play too. I was like, "What the heck? We should get together, love me some good basketball." That was cool, that was cool. I mean, how many people can say that they actually played a basketball game at the Staples Center, right? That's
Right? Pretty cool, right?
pretty cool. That's very different. That's very different. Yeah, I mean, and obviously, right, like we're in the financial services industry, and there is many, many, many companies that we could choose to be in business with. And for those of you that do not understand how the industry works, it's very similar to real estate, where you can work as an independent agent, totally fine, but then you're going to have to do all of the work finding the companies you're going to do business with, creating the selling agreements. You're going to have quotas with every single company. You are going to be very limited on the products and services you can offer to your clients. So you actually, in my opinion, are kind of doing a disservice to your clients by being independent. It's really better for them if you're working through an agency, because you're going to have access to 20, 30, 40
hmm
carriers and products and services that you would never, it's not even possible to have access to that much stuff on your own. Like, you could never fulfill the quotas. So we, both myself and Randolph, and then our businesses, decided to link arms and partner up and help grow and build GFI, which is Global Financial Impact. Made a big splash in the industry in the beginning of this year, and went from zero to now 22,000 agents in the company, about to cross over 23,000 here probably today. I've been seeing all the messages come out about it, so it's really exciting.
Right?
So I'm curious, out of all the agencies that you could work with, and the fact that you had a very, very successful agency going with your former company, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income, 100, plus licensed agents in your agency, like, why would you leave all of this guaranteed income, guaranteed lifestyle, like, talk about building the iconic dream lifestyle and then walking away from it? Like, why would someone do that? Why?
Yeah, great question. Really, really good question. We just went for it. Obviously, no pun intended with GFI. Just go for it. They say that when you're comfortable and you're in a comfortable state, you kind of lose your edginess. You kind of lose your drive. You kind of lose your will. And one of the things that I really enjoy, that I really love about GFI, is that we're changing the way financial services is done with technology. Like, let's be honest, we live in a technology world right now. Nobody picks up phone calls. Everyone loves text messaging. Nobody watches TV as much anymore. They just go through social media, and their attention span is 15, 30 seconds. They get all of their information in 15, 30 seconds. And what I love about GFI is we were able to combine financial services and technology, where somebody can hop on your website or your portal and purchase an insurance plan, right, without you even being there. And in 10 minutes they get approved and the policy's funded and you're getting compensated on it, right? That's really, really important. But one of the main reasons why I left is because of leadership. They say that great companies fall or do great on great leadership. And so I believe, top to bottom, we have the best leadership in the financial industry. It was an opportunity for all of our agents too, as well, right? And you mentioned, like, you were doing great, you were set, and I'll be honest, I was, but my agents weren't. And if I could go into a platform that opened that up, gave them higher compensation, maybe even gave them better products and better services, why wouldn't you take advantage of that, right? And so I would definitely say that agents getting compensated a lot more for work that, helping people save money and reach their financial goals. The last thing I would mention, Amanda, is I believe that making money is great, is awesome, but it doesn't matter unless you are improving as a person. And one thing I can say about GFI is that we really drive something called the 5S. They call it the fulfillment formula. and it's your faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. It's a company that really wants you to become a better man or become a better woman. It's a company that's going to teach you how to get stronger in your faith, how to be a better husband, how to be a better wife, how to be a better father or a mother, just in all areas of your life, right? And I can say this: money cannot buy that. Money cannot make you a better person. And so the fact that they drive that is just a great opportunity. And it's a place I wanted to be. And we're calling it home forever.
I know, I agree. And I love all the exact same things. And honestly, I just love the fact that like it's ours, right? Like we're building this. Like we really have a hand in the direction this company is headed. We have, our vote matters when it comes to the CEO. Like he literally texted me the other day and was like, "Hey, I'm going to this product provider's headquarters. Like, what are things that you want to see changed with this company that we're doing business with?" I'm like, "Oh shoot, here's my list. Like, I need all these things. Fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this." He's like, "Okay, got it." Like where else do you get that, right? With our former agencies, that they were going to the product providers headquarters, like they weren't asking the agents on the field, "Hey, what do you want to see change? Like, how can we make this better?"
Mhm.
So our opinion really does matter, and it's because we're in this from the ground up. I think you were the 50th person that decided to link arms with GFI. I was like the 350th person, and now there's over 20,000,
It's
22,000,
crazy.
probably crossing 23,000 today. It's
In nine
crazy.
months.
It's
In 9 months.
crazy.
Fastest growing financial services company in the space. How crazy is that? 9 months. That's what some companies do in 10 years. We haven't even been born for a year yet. And so, very excited for what's in store for GFI.
Me too. Me too. And it's one of those things where if you guys are feeling us on the conversation about wanting to get control of your life, maybe being over working that 9 to 5, over being a cubicle dweller, over sitting in traffic and not spending time with your family and having to miss things like just like the things that we sacrifice, you're sacrificing too, regardless where you're at, right? So you're either sacrificing at a job because you're
Mhm.
sacrificing your freedom, your time with your family, your income,
Absolutely.
or you're sacrificing to build a business, which means it's going to take a little time, energy, and effort and money to get it going potentially. So either way, it's like you choose your heart, right? Which way do you want it to be? But if
Mhm.
you are interested in getting into business in some way, shape, or form, I don't think you could pick a better industry to do it in besides the insurance and investment industry. Like it's going to be give you realistically the most earning potential, the most freedom, the most location freedom,
Mhm.
and really the opportunity to work when you want, wherever you want, with whoever you want, and have fun along the way. Which is the
I
most
agree.
important part. So, if people want to connect with you, Randolph, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Cantada, or you can find me on TikTok at We Talk Money. And I have actually a link on both, even a free complimentary financial analysis. We have those there on there as well. And I know, Amanda, you got that too. So I appreciate you having me on and speak to the YouTube community, and only up from here.
I agree. And I will definitely make sure that all of his information is going to be linked in the description of this video below. So if you guys want to connect with Randolph directly, please do. He's got fantastic content in his social media. You will learn something, that is for sure. Obviously, you guys have access to my information, but we just want to challenge you guys to do something with what you learned today. Don't just sit there. Don't just watch this and be like, okay, yeah, all good, but like actually do something. Knowledge is power, right? But only if it's applied. So if you're in a position where you're not happy with your life, or you're looking for a change, or you want some additional income or freedom, whatever it is, like go and figure out how to do that. We just showed you how we did it. We are happy to partner with you guys and show you how it can happen in our industry and our company, but there's so many other ways to do it too. So we want to challenge you guys to get out there and do something big with your life. Randolph, we're so grateful for your time today and taking time away from your business and family to speak to the Illuminate Your Wealth community. We're very honored and grateful. And if you guys like him, I'm sure we can probably get him back maybe a few months from now. So he'll be a family of 5 when we do that instead of a
That's
family of
right. That's
4,
crazy,
which is
huh?
crazy. But we do appreciate you and we're excited. And I just know this is only the beginning. So welcome, or not welcome. See ya. Wish you guys all a wonderful rest of your day, and we will catch you next time on YouTube.
Bye, guys.